he looks at his wife and thinks, that's my partner. That costs their sex life. That costs attraction. That costs respect. That costs peace. She's an anxious woman. Like, things that he celebrates in her are actually masculine standards that he's measuring her by. And it's got a lot of costs. Welcome to the Family Captain Podcast. I'm your host, I'm your coach, John Michael Clark. On this show, we help Christian husbands grow in family leadership and sex and marriage. So if you believe that Jesus is king, and you want to lead your family with strength and love, and you want frequency and freedom in your sex life, then you're in the right place. We're going to help you build an incredible family culture where God is glorified and your family is blessed by your strong, loving leadership.
Gentlemen, welcome to the Family Captain Podcast. I'm your co-host, Chris Farrell. This show is designed to help you become the greatest man your wife and your kids have ever known. Mr. John Michael Clark, my man, my brother, what is up?
Men of God, brothers in Christ, we are going to bless you today. We're talking about help. I masculinized my wife. So we want to help guys embrace God's good design instead of the thing that I made the mistake of, and I think you did, and many of us have.
100%. My first question is just, how do I know if my wife has shifted into more masculine traits? So I can recognize that.
Step one is let's define those, because some of our brothers are like, no, my wife couldn't be masculine. She loves pink. And, she hates camo. So therefore she's a girly girl. So let's clarify, guys, what we mean when we say masculine and feminine. We're talking about design, and let's have a plain spoken definition. Man is for protection, provision, and leadership. That is what masculinity, you couldn't boil it down to you can't remove one of those. So we didn't list Harley Davidsons in there. We didn't list leather. We didn't list machine guns. There's a lot of things we left out. They could be included and they could find an appropriate place potentially. But the spirit and the principle of the thing is a man is for protection. He is for provision. He is for leadership. What's a woman for? A woman is for helping. A woman is for life-giving. And a woman is for beautifying or glorifying, we could say, or multiplying, we could say. I use those interchangeably for that third piece for women. So that's how we're defining it. That's what I believe is biblical clarity on what a man is for and what a woman is for. Well, I think this, I think that. Well, you got plenty of freedoms within those categories. But now starting there, what we have in mind whenever we're saying, help, I masculinized my wife. Well, typically what we mean when we say that is a wife has shut down more of her vulnerability and she has embraced more of a toughness. Yes. She has hardened in a lot of ways. And unfortunately, it's been at the expense of her femininity. It's been at the expense of her vulnerability. It's been at the expense of her surrender. It's been at the expense of her submission. And unfortunately, that bears consequences. So in some areas, a man feel like, whew, I'm glad I don't have some emotional woman. And unfortunately, he's even bragged on her and celebrated that, which can be tragic in itself as well. So that's what we have in mind as we're talking about this.
Okay. I want to camp out there because what I'm thinking is it's like a guy could hear this, he could watch this, and he could be like, well, I look at that as a gift of hers, right? Not necessarily something that's wrong with her. So
right.
What's the difference between being strong or gifted, and is that the right conversation for the feminine?
That's a great point, and this is where it can get a little scary, because I do disagree with that point entirely. So if I'm sitting on the flight with the brother and he's like, talk me through this stuff, like we're in a great conversation, and he's like, oh no, dude, my wife's just super cool, and she's just like, she's really logical, she's not like these crazy women and all emotional and stuff. He's celebrating these as strengths, as victories. Unfortunately, he is judging her by masculine standards. So we're not saying that women can never be logical, but we're saying, generally speaking, men are more thinking and should be more thinking creatures. We are also feeling creatures, but primarily thinking. And a woman should be a more feeling creature. She's been designed that way. So my claim, my brothers in Christ, is that, if your wife is like shut down the whole emotional thing and she's like, oh, I'm not one of those women with all the feelings and stuff. My claim, my belief, my fight, it's good news for you, brother, because she can transform and grow and blossom into a healthy feminine woman. But my belief is that is a shell, that is a protection, that is a hardening, likely that's come from injuries dealt, likely that's come from programming, and unfortunately, if your marriage was like mine, it likely also came from you, where you rewarded her the more she acted like a bro and the less she acted feminine. So I masculinized my wife by wanting her to just cut to the chase, wanting to not have to navigate and deal with her emotions. So the bro who celebrates that in his wife is like, he feels like he dodged a bullet because he doesn't have to know how to lead a woman who through her emotions. When in reality, first of all, I understand that sentiment. As a man, you're like, I don't want to be a woman. Well, that's
Sure.
true. And I also don't want to be my wife's girlfriend, but I do need to be my wife's husband. So that means I need to know how to lead her through her emotions, because otherwise she is going to live emotionally blocked up, which is what this woman is, who's hardened and who doesn't like have emotions. Yes, she does. The problem is she's not processing them, and she just keeps stuffing them down and telling herself that I'm not one of those women. I'm not one of those women. But this shows up in their lack of polarity in their marriage. This means they have more androgyny. They have less husband and wife covering and helper dynamic, and they have more life partner dynamic. They don't have an amazing sex life. Like, there are other symptoms going on further downstream. Whereas this bro, like, no, 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 no. Like, but imagine, like, the bro who's hearing this for the first time, Chris, that's a lot to take in.
Sure.
We've been functioning one way for 20 years, and we both celebrated the way she is. And now, like, nope, I would turn off the podcast, right? Like, forget this. I don't even want to venture into the journey that might look like. But there is so much gold in it when a woman can actually be feminine, where she can actually be soft, where she can actually be surrendered and encouraged in femininity instead of encouraged in masculinity.
When we talk about the woman who is a little less soft, maybe a little more logical and non-emotional, and it's something that guys are like, hey, keep leaning into that because now I don't have to deal with those emotions, and we're basically broing out together. Like, what's the cost of that, given the dynamic and the contrast between the masculine and the feminine?
She's disrespectful is one of the costs. I mean, she judges, accuses, and leads him all the time. And he feels that still because he's still a man, but he doesn't have a high filter for it. He doesn't have a really, really thick filter for it because he's like, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's all fair. And he's not thinking about she should respect me and I should love and cover her. It's the husband. He's not thinking of his wife as, he doesn't look at his wife and think, that's my baby. He looks at his wife and thinks, that's my partner. And like I said, that costs their sex life. That costs attraction. That costs respect. That costs peace. She's an anxious woman. She's an anxious and hard and stressed. She's probably a very tight woman emotionally. And again, she's probably a critical woman. She's used to being criticizing. She'll receive criticism. She's not like one of these women who can't take any criticism. Again, like, things that he celebrates in her are actually masculine standards that he's measuring her by, and it's got a lot of costs.
Yeah, yeah. As you said that, it made me think of potential examples of women that wouldn't be soft and how difficult it would be for them to actually gain friendships with the right women as well. It's like, I know a lot of guys are like, oh, babe, I want you to have community and friends, and we need to have community and friends, and I have my guys that I watch sports with, right? But it just seems like you don't jive with anybody. And yeah,
she's often critical of more feminine women,
right?
Potentially because she feels insecure and she feels like, eek, that's drawing something out of me that I'm not letting out. And she's like, nope. So then she can often flip it and go, they're just so emotional and they're so dramatic. And maybe they are, maybe they're godless. Like, maybe they're gossips and busybodies and they're actually like let their flesh run wild with it. Or maybe they're godly Christian women who are actually just processing, and maybe she's bad at being a feminine friend because she's never learned how to. And maybe they're looking for the girlfriend dynamic a lot of times what girls do is like just the ongoing empathy. Oh my goodness, girl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, the thing is, husbands that we hate to be like, bro, I do not want to be on the girlfriend treadmill. I refuse to be my wife's girlfriend. I will be her husband. So we coach guys how to not be the stoic statue who's like, emotions are dumb, get over your emotions. Or the guy who's like, I'll be your girlfriend, tell me all your problems. Like, this is why we reject, Chris, the terrible advice that says, all right, guys. You see, guys share this like it's a life hack, Chris, and it's not. It's a flaw. It's not a feature. This is not a good thing. They say, let me help everybody out. Let me help all the men. This gets shared at men's conferences. This gets shared from the pulpit. I want to share this in a gracious way so as not to mock all those guys, but it's just bad counsel. And they'll say, let me help you guys with something. It's being presented as like a husband 4.0 kind of move, and everybody leans in. They're like, what is it? It's like, when your wife's sharing her problems, you ask her this question. Do you need me to listen, or do you need me to fix it? And everybody's like, wow, brilliant. Man, that's really brilliant. It's not, though, because what I'm doing is I'm making her the leader. And I'm
Yeah.
saying, tell me how to be a husband. When in reality, what does she need, John Michael? What is your claim, oh family captain? My claim is that she needs both. She does need to process her emotion. I want her to share her feelings, literally in emotion, not just the facts of the event, Chris.
Right.
Well, I did this and Becky did that, and then they asked me to do the whole thing, and now, like, but it doesn't make any sense, and I'm really frustrated because blah 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 da, 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 da. And she's like, share, and then she said, and then she texted me in the thread and said, well, no, you were supposed to bring, and she's giving you facts, 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 facts. What I want my wife to share is her vulnerable emotion that she's feeling. And sometimes I'll have to coax it out of her. Baby, that sounds really overwhelming. Is that right? Yes, I feel so overwhelmed. Finally, we got to an emotion. I was patient during the thing. I mean, I'm not 45 minutes patient. I want to be clear. I don't want guys to be hostages for 2 hours as the drama is unfolding before them. My baby, that sounds like a lot going on. Well, you don't interrupt me. Baby, I want to be a blessing and I want to help. The way you can bless me and the way you can help is to blah, 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 blah. Like, this is where guys get shut down because she's like, be my girlfriend. And this is where, as a husband, I have to say, no, I will never be your girlfriend. I will never be your sister. That's pretty intense. Some guys are going to use that and they're going to shoot themselves in the foot because they don't know how to read the room. But the point is, as the spirit of the thing is I refuse to be Natalie's girlfriend.
Yes.
I always am happy to be Natalie's husband, which means, oh my goodness, like she shared something with me the other day. But in her overwhelm of all the facts, she shared, I just feel overwhelmed now. So she's in the habit and pattern of sharing the emotion. I want the emotion named because that is going to keep your wife from emotional constipation. And many wives, many women are emotionally constipated. And they're like, no, dude, my wife tells me her problems all the time. Hang on, brother. Is she sharing her feelings? Not, I feel like Becky is really mean to me. Not, I feel like they don't appreciate me. Those aren't feelings. Just because you put I feel in front of something, Chris, doesn't mean you just shared a feeling. I feel like you're a jerk, Chris. I feel like you don't care about me. Those were two judgments and two accusations. John Michael did not share what he feels. I feel sad that me and you aren't closer, Chris. That took vulnerability.
Right.
That's what I feel. I feel like you're an idiot. What do you feel, John Michael? I feel angry. I feel worried. You know, Chris holds a different theological perspective than me. Chris, I just feel like you're an idiot and you're super close-minded. Well, what's behind that, John Michael? I feel concerned for my brother that he has that belief. I feel worry. That's the emotion I feel. Because of his theological perspective, I feel worry for him and for the outworking of that theological. That's what I feel. But I turned it into a judgment and an accusation. Why? Because I don't want to step in any kind of vulnerability. I just want to say, I feel like you're an idiot. I feel like you're a jerk. I feel like you're a heretic. I feel like those aren't feelings. I'm hiding my accusations and judgments. So our masculinized wife does the same thing. I know I'm a few steps away from where we originally were, but from the stage, in the book, hey man, let me teach you. Let me teach you the next level. Ask her, do you need me to listen or do you need me to fix it? Here's the answer, my brother in Christ. It's both. I intend to listen to Natalie and I intend to help Natalie express her emotion. And if she doesn't, I will help her to bring it out so that she can stay, oh, that's what I'm feeling. We don't obey every emotion that our wives have, guys. Her emotions are not God. Her emotions are not absolute truth, but we're not dismissive of them to go, that's crazy. It might be irrational. It might not be trustworthy, but now I'm going to help her. Let's take that thing. Let's analyze it. Let's make it obey Christ. I feel sad. Why? Because my mom passed away. And this is our first Christmas without her. Oh my goodness, baby. All you do is step into that and grieve with her. There's a time to grieve. Yes, baby. It's going to be hard. And then you pray, Lord, thank you so much for all the years we had with. So like you pray and you lead and she cries again and she's going to cry Christmas morning. And we're there to help her process sadness. And we actually are the strong place where she can process it. That's different versus she's mad and she's gossiping about Becky. This needs a little different kind of leadership. Hey, babe, I know Becky has a lot on her, and obviously you do as well. It sounds like you're overwhelmed and worried that she's going to be upset with you if you tell her no. Yes, I'm so overwhelmed, and now I'm worried she's going to be afraid. Good job, Captain. You just got her to name some emotions. She's actually processing the thing instead of up here in the, oh, I can't believe it, and what about, overwhelm. Worry about Becky being offended. Worry about the other moms thinking that she's not pulling her weight for the thing, our fictional event that we can all imagine here. Those are the emotions. Baby, thank you for sharing that with me. here's what we're going to do. And I did this with Natalie the other day. Like, she presented her problem, her overwhelm, and she shared her overwhelm. And then I said, here's what's going to happen. And then I provided my leadership and my direction.
That's a really strong frame, and I tell you why, because you're right. You just pushed against 99% of marriage advice. The whole like, are you trash dumping or toolboxing, right? And it's funny. Prior to you being on our show, my wife and my show, and me joining the family captain, we actually did an episode on supporting that. But what's awesome about what you just said is it does bring us to a deeper layer, right? Of, hey, how do you feel? And actually beginning to like solve for that. I know that there's guys listening who are like, she's not soft and neither am I. So I wouldn't even know, like, you're saying words that I don't feel like I could get out without her being like, so what do you say to that guy?
Yeah. He's got to start. If she's really hard and he doesn't have the capital for this. So what we're sharing here is 3.0 stuff.
A little bit, yeah.
So it's dangerous because guys want to jump to it and they're like, some guys are going to be excited. Like, yeah, I want to do that. Bro, you have to be that man.
Yes.
You have to be that guy. So if you're at a place of any kind of leadership debt right now and you go try and employ these tactics, they will backfire. And then you will say, it doesn't work. I tried it. And you will have your own little self-fulfilling prophecy because you did not proceed from husband 1.0, which is kind of clueless, bro, which is where I was, to husband 2.0, master of self-leadership and building capital, to husband 3.0, to you are your wife's coach. Do you got a program for women? Yeah, it's called Husbands. Like, you're the one who's going to lead her into all the places that she needs to go. That's the ideal. Not some other woman, her husband, her head. And when you're that guy, you can do that thing. So we want them to know that, yeah, you're going to have a wife in a different place. But the place to start, Chris, instead of being like, hey, tell me what you're feeling. And she's like, blah, 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 and no emotion actually was listed. No feeling. Like if we were looking at an emotions wheel, anger, sadness, confusion, loneliness, like those are all emotions. Hey, babe, what are you feeling? Most wives are so trained to say, well, we got to this, and she's not this soft feminine creature. She's not open emotionally. She's not open physically. She's not open spiritually. She's hard, intense, and tight because the world and her husband and herself and whoever else have been like, toughen up, girl, toughen up. You got to pull up your big girl panties. Again, be a great life partner. So the thing that brother should do, if he wants to start going in that direction with the utmost gentleness, remember the law of the spectrum that we teach in the Family Captain, whatever number you're at in any particular area, you only go to the very next one. So if you're at 0, don't you dare go to 2. You only go to 1. So for bros who are like, this sounds like a foreign language, where would I begin? You would begin by, instead of asking her to list it, she's not going to. You are going to volunteer one for her. And you're going to be thinking, as she's talking, what might my girl be feeling as she's describing all this? Stress, overwhelm, embarrassment. We pull away, we leave the birthday party, and she's like, I can't believe you said blah, 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 blah. And then she's mad and like going in on him. And he's like, what? It was just a joke and blah, 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 blah. Stop it, brother. Calm, consistent. What might she be feeling? You told a joke at her expense. Play along with me, Chris. What emotion might she be feeling right now?
Embarrassment.
Embarrassment. Bingo. She's feeling embarrassment. But she's so used to hiding every negative emotion behind which emotion? Anger.
Anger, yeah.
Anger's the safe one. Mm-hmm. Chris, you're just pissing me off, dude. Mm-hmm. Jamichael's scared. Chris, you're just pissing me off, dude. Jamichael's embarrassed. Chris, you're just pissing me off, dude. Like all these other more vulnerable emotions that I don't want to share with my friend because it's like, I'm not doing that. You're just pissing me off, brother. That's the real problem here. Like, I got to keep myself charged up. Well, she's doing the same thing. She's got to keep herself charged up. And she doesn't know vulnerability, and she doesn't want vulnerability. But vulnerability is exactly what's commanded to a New Testament Christian wife. Wives, submit to your husbands. She is to submit and to defer her problems. This is 4.0 stuff that very, 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 very few people I've ever met are ready for. But this is where she's genuinely, you get in the car after the picnic and she says, may I share something with you? And you say, of course, baby. And she goes, I was so embarrassed when you said blah, blah, blah. And you go, baby, I'm so sorry. I never want to embarrass you. Like, that's if we're both perfect, right? Well, I wasn't perfect because I already embarrassed her. But like, we're out here living, right? So we get in the car and she's like, "May I share something?" Yeah, of course. Which is always my response. "I was so embarrassed when you said blah blah blah. Ugh, I wish I could fall into a hole. Like, I wish I could just die and undo the thing I've done. Like, I am so sorry. Would you please forgive me?" No justification. No, or depending on what it was, right? Maybe she's like a giant ego and she should get over it. I don't want to encourage brothers towards that.
Right.
Maybe I genuinely just overstepped and it was out of line.
Mm.
But the point is, we want to normalize this. Back to my original point I was trying to make. Where do you begin? Submit the idea in front of her. There we were. Back in the car, she's yelling, she's going off, she's angry. Lighthouse, peaceful, non-defensive posture. "Babe, I never want to embarrass you." "I'm not embarrassed, I'm just mad." You took a stab at it. She didn't say I felt embarrassed.
Mhm.
But if you were to ask her when she's that angry and charged up, it sounds like I'm hearing some embarrassment. There's no way she's admitting to that.
Right.
She's already using anger as her shield and as her weapon. If you like float embarrassed, that's a super vulnerable emotion. That's like maybe one of the most, right? I'm embarrassed. That's a really vulnerable one. Baby,
It is.
thank you for sharing some of that with me. I never, ever want to embarrass you. I'm not embarrassed. I'm just mad. Okay. I'm not going to double down and say, yes, you are. I know that's really the emotion behind what's going on here.
Right.
But I'm going to start sampling and floating things. That's kind of an intense example.
Yeah.
Let's say Natalie, with her overwhelm, she was sharing the other day. What if she had not volunteered the emotion of overwhelm? I would have been like, "Oh my goodness, babe. Sounds like you're overwhelmed. That sounds overwhelming." "Yes, it is. Blah, blah." All right, cool. I got the direction. And I would guess, maybe you're worried also about how they're going to respond if you say yes or no, or maybe so. Like, yeah, because I don't want to let anybody down. She's overwhelmed and she's worried that she could let somebody down. Good job, John Michael. You got her to express some of the things. Now I know what's really going on. Now I can minister to my wife according to the need. Her emotion is a liar, and it is untrustworthy in this moment. What's another emotion? I'm worried. I'm worried. I'm worried our kids are going to get sick and die. I'm worried our kids are going to get sick and die. Well, that is something to renounce, right? Like, we don't just take every emotion and go, let's let it wash over us and let's let it just sit. Like the Brené Brown teaching, like empathy.
Right.
You get in the hole and you sit in the hole and you just feel the hole with the holiness of the hole, and everybody just holds it out together. Like, no, thank you. Jesus comes into the hole and he takes you out of the hole. Thank God. So he came into the hole, but then he got us out of the hole. So the point is, we're not just there to endlessly empathize, but we analyze and we make every thought obey the Lord Jesus Christ. And we don't tell her to just put on her big girl panties. We lead her through it. So if she's like, "I'm just so worried. I keep worrying that our kids have cancer and that they're going to die." Like, we don't go like, thank you for sharing that with me. Yeah, I really understand. Like, hey, the world is broken. That's a real possibility. All of our children could actually die from cancer. They might have brain tumors right now. How would we know until they had terrible Like, John Michael, that's absurd. Of course it is. So there's certain things that are to be rejected. There's certain things, "I'm sad because my mom died." Well, of course you are. As you should be. Let's grieve it, let's mourn it, and let's move forward through it. And then there's other thing, "I'm worried about our kids." Well, then let's take that to the Lord, and baby, we're going to stand on his promises. We cannot meditate on these thoughts. They are not from the Lord, and we need to take them captive and make them obey the Lord Jesus Christ. So, brothers, we're not saying your wife's emotions run the marriage. I'm saying the opposite. Most of the time, wives' emotions do run the marriage until a man learns how to lead his wife through her emotions. But if you take her counsel, she will tell you, "I just want to process. I just want to emote. I just want to gush." And she's verbally vomited on you this whole thing. She still doesn't feel full satisfaction because most of the time she's recounting facts instead of processing emotion. And then still you didn't bring leadership if we just followed the other counsel that says, ask the leader, the true leader of the marriage, the wife, what you're supposed to do here. You're supposed to do all the things. Help her process the emotion and then lead her through it. Sometimes it's prayer. Thank you, God, for the years we had with mom. Sometimes it's we renounce that wicked thought and we embrace the promises of Jesus. Sometimes it's, "Yep, baby, I understand you're concerned about the overwhelm and letting your friends down. Here is what we're going to do, and here is what I am expecting and requiring of you." So I can be the bad guy covering that sets her standards and rules. But this is how we help a wife approach softness. This is how we get her away from the help I masculinize my wife. Help I turn my wife into my best bro. Help, this is my life partner who I have encouraged in masculinity over the years. Now I want to encourage her in softness and femininity, even though that's going to require a lot more of me.
Yes. Shared some very high level things there, which is
Yeah,
good.
it's probably too much, frankly.
No. You did a great job of giving the disclaimer that,
But nobody's
you
going to
know,
obey it.
you I know. Well, I think a good analogy is like right now you are
Bros are never clear, Chris. They don't know how much leadership capital they have. They think they have more than they
correct.
have. We see it all the
Correct.
time with clients. We do their
Correct.
assessment. They come in, they're like, my capital's at level 6. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So you can go do this and this and this, right? And they're like, no way. I'm like, then that's not a 6, bro. Like, you're at a 2. Well,
Yep.
my brother-in-law, well, then he's at a negative 1 million. Like,
Mhm.
the leadership capital system is based upon your ability. Like, if you ever wonder where you are in leadership capital, what instructions and commands can you give? What directives can you give that will be obeyed? There's your test. I can say anything and it will be joyfully responded to. Well, then you're peak. You're like a gajillionaire in leadership capital.
Mhm.
But yeah, most guys are
Yeah.
somewhere under that.
Yeah. You just sprinted like an Olympic athlete with some of that 4.0, 5.0 stuff. And some guys got to learn how to walk, right? And so I want to pivot that direction. Protector, provider, leader, right? Around those three things, I'd like to break down each here. What am I lacking as a protector that is creating hardness in my wife?
I was thinking about this yesterday. I didn't know we were going to be talking about this today. I was thinking about this last night. I've been thinking about this idea lately. I don't know if this is going to come out right because I haven't processed it enough. But if guys will be gracious with me, well, I know fans will, enemies won't. But
Right.
someday when I'm on The View, they'll pull this clip. There needs to be like the whole. That's the dream, right? Getting onto the.
That is the dream, dude. You and Whoopi Goldberg going at it.
I'm gonna just be lighthouse. I'm just gonna just all the fruits of the spirit. Um, it'll it'll be fun, but the whole protector perspective, like there's a lot of detail within it. We know we're supposed to fight the ninjas at 2 a.m. if they attack. We know that's part of our responsibility. But there are other things because men are like, yeah, if a bad guy comes, if something goes bump in the night, I know that's my job. But the whole protector idea, it's this willingness to be the covering. It's a determination to be, just frankly, to feel protective, not just to follow the rule of if somebody's got to go into combat, I know I'm the one who has to go into combat, but to really embody the spirit of the thing that's more focused on, I feel like the protector. I feel protective and I take on that role instead of, I've told this story before. There was a client years ago. We had done like, we do these live calls with me and Natalie and clients and their wives, just like a fun free for all we'll do with clients every so often. And it's just an ask us anything. It's a hangout session. But Natalie was sitting beside me and we had a different setup and she had like bumped her head just barely while we were filming on this little bookcase beside us. And I was like, oh, my baby. Like I felt like pain in my body when she got hurt. Just like when you see your children get hurt, like my wife got hurt. Like, oh my goodness, what would you give? What would you give to trade places with her? Because Natalie is my baby. And I don't care about any of the accusations. I don't care about any of the concerns that people have with like that language. You know, like what's the phrase? Infantilizing your wife.
Infantile?
If you call your wife baby,
And you,
like turning her into an infant or something.
no,
Like
yeah, I've never heard
no,
that.
I shouldn't appease dogs and wolves and snakes. Anyway, I think the gracious and fair know what I mean here. But like my baby just got hurt. Oh my goodness, oh baby, are you okay? So anyway, one of the clients told me back when we were on the bros only call a couple days later, he said my wife commented during the training, he said, so Jamichael's sweet to Natalie. And he was like, I didn't know how to take that. And I was like, allow me to interpret. I would like to be covered. I would like for you to be sweet to me the way he is sweet to her. Like I feel protective of her. Don't you think your wife is? There I am answering the accuser. Don't you think your wife? Yes, my wife is very capable, and still I feel protective. I feel watchful. I feel responsible. Like, protector is not just the thing I would do at 2 a.m. Protector is who I am as a man. It's a part of my whole masculinity. It affects the way I'm in the restaurant. It affects the way, like, she was upset because I couldn't go on a walk with her. She's like, "You going on a walk with me?" I was like, "I can't," which I hate, and she hates it. She's like, she starts singing the, I think it's a Reba McEntire song, like sarcastically, jokingly. She's like, "She's a single mom who works 2 jobs, who loves her kids and never stops." Because she saw some reel that's
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
you know, like a treasured wife whenever she doesn't get her husband, like, or when a wife has to drive somewhere on her own, she's
Right.
like, "A single mom who works 2 jobs." Just being a little bit dramatic.
I
She's
love
like,
it.
"I guess I'll just go out in the wild." Like, but I genuinely don't like that. I want to be with my wife. "Can't your wife go for a walk?" "Well, yeah, but I'm her protector." "Well, what's going to happen out where y'all live?" "Well, I don't know, but I know with me, nothing's going to happen." And pit bulls are a thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the number one murderous dog in the world, no matter how much you love them or like them. I will fight you on pit bulls.
is
It's
real.
just facts. Just like Dodge Ram's the number one DUI vehicle in the world.
Is it really?
Absolutely. It didn't say that you're an alcoholic if you own one. I didn't
I
say
did
that.
not know that.
I'm just saying that's the most likely vehicle to get the
Very
DUI
interesting.
at 1500.
That's wild.
That pit bull's most likely to murder somebody. Just whatever.
Yeah.
I'm her protector. I feel protective. So back to our brother, he was like, "Yeah, so I don't know about that. What about this? What about that?" And I said, "Yeah, like, be more protective, care more about her, like, act like the covering." "Well, my wife's kind of tough and kind of this and kind of that." And he gave pushback, and he's like, "JM, I don't know how to put this, man." He's like, "But I treat my wife like an adult." And everybody had a laugh at my expense, which is fine. And then also not trying to slam him, but also trying to teach him. And I was like, "Well, brother, but judge the fruit. You know, like, oh, good for you and treat your wife like an adult, and that's what you got. You're an adult married to an adult. You're a partner married to a partner. I'm a husband married to a wife." That's the difference. That's the distinction. Because being the protector it's a part of who I am. It's not one thing, Chris, it's everything. So, that's why guns are cool. "I don't need a gun to be masculine." Well, you don't need a gun to be masculine, but guns point towards something, towards a purpose and a design, protection. So because we're protectors, force multipliers become interesting to us. So knives and guns, things that can send high-speed lead into our mammal opponents to cause their earth suit to stop functioning, like, that's a protector role. That's a protector tool.
Yes.
But guys get stuck on the caricatures and like, manly men they think it's all about guns and stuff. Like, slow down. Guns don't make you a man. Also, protecting does make you a man, which can then lead to all kinds of other things, like the door barricades that I use on my doors and all the security measures I have in place in my home. All those things speak to that, including the tools that I have that can send high-speed lead, in whatever direction I would choose. So there's a lot to the protector piece, just like there's a lot to the provider piece, just like there's a lot to the leader piece, which is where we spend most of our time in the family captain. But I treat my wife like I'm her covering all the time. And if she didn't like it, I wouldn't stop. I would continue to care for her and continue to provide for her because I'm ultimately responsible for her.
Yes.
And I love to provide for her. I love to protect her. She gets to be covered, and I get to be the covering, and I'm happy there. I'm happy to be the one who's first in line for suffering, and she's happy to be cherished, and she's the most treasured woman. She's the most adored wife in the world, and she would tell you that. I'm not just speaking for her. She would say, "I'm the most loved woman on earth." Like, yep, that's the goal. That's the point.
It's amazing.
The Family Captain is all about helping Christian husbands to build an incredible marriage and family culture. It's self-leadership, it's family leadership, it's sex and marriage, all made practical so husbands, wives, and children can enjoy God's best and truly thrive. It's one thing to believe that Christians should have the best marriages and sex lives. It's another thing to know how to make it all happen. But inside our Family Captain Elite coaching program, that's exactly what you're going to learn. In the Family Captain Elite, men are not only equipped with the conviction to act, but also with the wisdom to navigate their exact situations. And they get a clear, practical path to get them the incredible fruit that they're after. So if you want to take your marriage and family culture from just fine to incredible, then go to thefamilycaptain.com and book a free assessment call to see if the Family Captain Elite program really is a good fit for you. That's thefamilycaptain.com. Family leadership is a high calling for your life. So what are you waiting for?
All that's really good, but you started to say something, and I'm wondering, did you say it during that, or did you not?
Yeah. So the thing that I've been thinking on lately is, oh yeah, this is the part that would be misconstrued. Your wife needs to know that there's like that you have the capacity for meanness, never towards her, never towards good people.
Yeah.
So nice guy doesn't have the gear, like the healthy protector covering gear. Good guy does. Good guy has this gear where he's like, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of threats. I'm not worried about what's going to happen. And she needs to know that the man she's with has that edge and has that gear and has a place he can go. Like, it's not the I'm a lover, not a fighter. No, I'm a lover and a fighter. Oh, I'm definitely the total package. And I'm always ready to be a fighter. Like, that's part of the protector role. What is I forget the military leader who said it. And he's like, I think he said be nice. So we'll give him a free pass there because we know the spirit of what he's saying. He's like, be the nicest person that anyone's ever met and have a plan to kill everyone you know. It's like that. So while we don't ascribe to that degree,
Right.
but that's the spirit of the thing. It's like, I'm always joyful. I'm always alert. When I'm in public, I'm not scowling at people like, try me. I wish somebody would. I wish somebody. That's not it at all. But it's always alert.
Yeah.
It's always erect. It's always, I see you.
Yeah.
I see you. I see you. And it's just all the potentials are just like, oh, he sees me. Like, I see you.
Yeah.
There's a smile on my face. But there's like something beyond it. It's not the nice guy smile. It's not please don't mess with me smile. It's God bless you. And if you want to throw down, I'll be right here. Right. It's the full, if you want to try me, I can be the one.
Yeah.
Today can be the day. I don't want that.
Yeah.
I want to love everybody. I want to live at peace with everybody. But like Natalie knows this about me. I'm sure if she was here, I could ask her and be like, what would happen if, what would happen? What would happen if you were ever under duress? If our children were ever at risk? Like, it would just be like laughable to her. She'd be like, you would go just nuclear. Like, it would just be you. She believes that. And my boys believe that. I was preaching once, and I don't remember what the connection was I was making. It was God's protection and care for us and just the fierceness with which he loves us and how he loves us with his jealous love. He's jealous for us, and he's protective of us. And foolishly, in the middle of my sermon, I did something I never do. And Hudson was right there on the front row. I was like, Hudson, what would Daddy do if somebody ever tried to hurt one of you boys? And he immediately, without missing a beat, starts quoting Home Alone. You'd cut off their cojones, and I was like, oh! Like, as soon as... And the whole church erupts, and like, I couldn't even get in front of it enough. He's like it was obvious to him. I was like, if anybody ever tried to hurt somebody in our family, what would Daddy? He's like, you would cut off their cojones, and the finish line is, and burn them in motor oil.
Oh my God. I don't remember that part. That is hilarious.
I think that's what one of the guys says. Like, we're going to cut off his cojones and burn him in motor oil.
Funny.
So, but Hudson, like, he was a little guy. And he was just like, I was like, oh, okay. You know what? That's my bad. That's on me. That's on me. I shouldn't have gone there. What's your point, Joe Michael? I don't have it concise because I haven't spent enough time thinking about it. I've literally thought about it for the first time this past week. And I remembered a song lyric. There's a Dierks Bentley song. It's a country music singer. And he has a lyric. I don't remember the song. But it's a love song. I think it's called I'm a Fighter or I'm a Survivor. And I think he's talking to his woman and he's reassuring her. And it's pretty dope, if I remember it all correctly. But there's one line in it. He says, I'm mean enough to stare your demons down. And I don't know what the songwriter meant when he wrote it, but I know how I've interpreted that is like, your enemies, they don't scare me, baby. None of your enemies scare me. There's no one in your life who you're intimidated by or the terrible thing that happened to you potentially years ago and that person who's still in our orbit, like you are always covered because I'm always here, like I'm meaner than they are. And I think Natalie and my boys know that about me. Like, they've never seen Daddy mean. They've never seen Daddy in that gear, but they also know, like, Daddy's meaner than any bad guy. Like, God help the bad guy who comes for Natalie or for those boys.
Mhm.
And I think they have that perspective. So that's my inarticulate expression of what I've been processing. And I'm like, men just need that. Like,
Mhm.
and plenty of guys are listening like, bro, I know exactly what you're talking about, bro.
Yes.
I feel that. I am that. I get it. I get it. I have
Yeah.
tons of guys do. I'm just saying, brother, if you don't relate to any of that, like, where do you get it? I don't know. Start practicing it. I think partly, like, start walking in some of those things,
Yeah.
just covering, just protecting. I think in practicing it and looking out for your wife. Hey, baby, when you go on your walks, I want you to take this mace with you. I don't need that. Nothing's going to happen. We have a safe neighborhood. I understand that, my girl. I want you to take this. Whatever, like,
Mhm.
whatever little things you can start to do to act as the protector.
Mhm.
I think that will also help you to feel like the protector.
Yes.
But
No, it's so good.
good men are dangerous men. Jordan Peterson has a whole thing about
I
that,
pulled it
right?
up for you. It says a harmless man is not a good man. A good man is a very, very dangerous man who has that under voluntary control.
Right. Yeah, I will point, like, I never want to be aggressive. I never want to be violent, ever. Ever. Do you have the capacity? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, there's another point to add here. To all those who feel that capacity, skill is a whole different category.
True.
Like the amount of men who think that they know how to fight and they don't train.
It is a different world. Yes.
That's a whole thing.
Yeah.
People don't know how violent violence is,
It
Chris.
is.
Violence is super violent. It's like getting in a car wreck and you've never been in one. You're like, that was discombobulating. Like, that is not what I thought it was going to be like. Violence is like that. For those who are not familiar with it, for those who aren't familiar with combat and the stresses of it, like even just the simplicity of like jujitsu, which isn't even a striking sport. I'm just like, woof. There are a lot of layers here, and there's a lot of gears, and there's a lot of places to go. Or firearms. I got a gun. Like, training matters in all these areas. So
Yes.
the instincts are good. We say praise God for that, brother. You're a man. God made you that way. And also we must train with the gifting, with the purposes that God has built us
Amen.
for.
Amen. I'll add to that. I paid a pro fighter probably like 5 years ago to just do one-on-one
To come and pretend to
training
beat
with
you
me.
up, and then you wasted him in front of Jana in the
Exactly.
street.
Yeah.
Justy Smollett
That's what it
style.
was. No, but
All right, sorry.
but I remember us training, and I'm thinking to myself like, look, I was a college athlete, like I'm fit, I'm in fitness at
Chris is like,
the
I can
time,
shoot a
all the
three-pointer.
things,
What's
right,
up?
dude? And then we started training, and I was just like, I am a little tiny child. And then 3 months later, like we actually start getting into it, and I gained a level of confidence that even to this day, even though it's been a few years, like I know how to square up, how to strike, like I understand the mechanics of it now, and I feel a million times more confident when I'm in a situation now because I know.
Before there was determination, but there
Yes.
wasn't skill.
Exactly.
And skill counts a lot,
counts a
depending on who we're going
ton.
against and what we're facing.
Skill counts a ton.
I am not where I should be.
Yeah.
I'm not where I could be. I'm not where I should be.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an important lesson. And bro, as you square up with me, if you and I ever went at
Come
it,
on,
I
5'10"
would
versus
shoot a
5'11",
takedown
let's
on
go.
you. You're gonna be like, let's stand here and take turns punching each other in the dome, and I'd be like, no, thank you. I'd like to take you onto the ground and break your limbs.
Right. So you seem like that squirrely wrestler type of dude who would just like choke out like a guy
I'm
who was
just
like
scrappy,
30
bro.
or 50 pounds heavier. So I definitely,
Just mean.
I would keep you standing up for sure because I had the
I
length
wouldn't.
on you and probably the power.
I'm driving in. I'm taking one punch. I'm shooting like a blast double. We're going to the ground,
Well, now you told me.
and then I'm
so.
heel hooking you and ripping your foot off.
Next time I see you in person, we're just gonna go right at it immediately, just
Just
straight from the
immediately
get-go.
in the airport, wherever it is. Bro, I am a lowly one stripe white belt, just for context, so that nobody thinks that I'm claiming to be a hero out here.
Well, I'm not a belt at all. I just trained with that pro fighter and figured out some things, and I'm like, all right, I'm probably, safe for the most part, as long as it's not like 2 or 3 people. But
There's some movie, I don't know what it's from, but I know the quote. It's like, I don't know karate, but I know crazy.
no crazy.
I don't know where that's
Oh,
from.
that's awesome. So back to what you were saying about like, do I feel that instinctually? I remember when I was in the family captain, actually, I'm in the basement working, and I'm on my computer, and everything's silent, and all of a sudden I hear our alarm go off upstairs, and like our main alarm, and my wife screams my name, and I thought instantly, for some reason, it was the middle of the day, I thought intruder. I like sprint up the steps as fast as I can. I open the door, and there's smoke everywhere. It was a fire, but I was thinking intruder, And then after the fact, I put the fire out and everything, and like it was just
I
all
remember that.
a whirlwind.
And your
Yeah,
house was covered in powder.
dude, it smelled awful, and my whole kitchen was destroyed, and like, yeah, it was wild. But it was interesting because I told my wife, I was like, I thought I was an intruder. She's like, what? I was like, yeah, like I thought intruder for sure because I sprinted up the steps as fast as I could, and I'm thinking to myself, like, where was the fear? Like, it's not because I'm like this amazing human being. Just where was the fear? I was just like, let's go, like fight immediately. And so I think a lot of guys would find themselves in that spot, given
Bro, if I
given
was
the
home alone,
impulse.
if I was home alone and somebody broke into my house, I would be terrified. I'd be like, what
Me
was
too.
that? I'd be
Probably.
like
Yeah.
under the covers. But like when other people, my
That's
family, most of
hilarious.
like,
That's honest.
bro,
Yeah.
welcome to the jungle.
Yeah.
It
That's
would be a
awesome.
different game. It would be
That
a
is
different
awesome.
feeling for sure.
That is awesome. Okay, let's keep pivoting because we could stay on that one for a while.
Yeah, yeah. Help I masculinize my wife. We're trying
Let's
to help our
move
brothers
to.
to.
So we talked about protector, and I think you said some amazing things there. Let's talk about how lack of provision creates this chaos, for a lack of better term.
I want my wife to have the freedom to surplus financially, but not the burden of provision. So
Yes.
that's the distinction. And depending on the financial situation, depending on the season, that might look like different things at different times. So I don't intend to condemn anybody, and yet still the role of provision belongs to the husband. So if we end up on the side of the road destitute, that is my responsibility, not hers. Wasn't she your helper? Yeah, she's my helper. She's to help me in those things, but she's not the ultimate responsible one for all of those things. So for us, that looked like different things in different seasons, but I always, as a value, never wanted Natalie to have to do things that took her away from the household, from being my helper directly and being our children's mother directly. So for us, it looked like voice lessons. And she had a quote voice studio where she had up to, I don't know, 8, 9 students. And they come into our living room and she does a voice lesson. And that brought in, I don't know, $1,500 a month at its peak, which was critical.
Mm-hmm.
But it also kept Natalie still, because of our value, still kept her pointed towards household instead of,
Yeah.
we need money. I guess she has to go work for and help another man, and we'll have to figure something else out. Like my value said, that's not an option.
Yeah.
So we can be creative. The Proverbs 31 woman, she considers a field and she buys it. She's selling other goods. So she's making stuff happen.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe she's doing that from the surplus, not from her husband going, hey, I'd pull my weight, you pull your weight. Because if you don't, we're not eating.
Right.
I see that as supplemental because she gives to the poor. Like they're in a place of abundance and she's able to flow and she's able to be feminine. And all of her activities are still pointed directly to her household, which is her biblical priority and command anyway. So, the wife who is hardened and masculinized a lot of times has prided herself in that career. He has celebrated her career. A lot of times he has used her career or her income as the evidence. Bro, look at what she makes.
Yeah.
Stick that in your family captain pipe and smoke it, Joe Michael. Like my wife makes a killing, dude. She's got the way, she's got the means. And instead of arguing from purpose and design, protector, provider, leader, helper, life giver, glorifier, beautifier, multiplier, we point to our unique circumstance. But that's no different from the protector role, Chris. Well, my wife, trained karate when she was a kid. So she actually checks to see what the bump in the night was because we think we have some unique, example here. Like, brother, protection is still your responsibility. It's who you are. It's what you're made for, my brother. So it's still yours. Provision is still yours. The hard lesson for me was to just realize I wasn't a good provider.
Mm-hmm.
That hurt when I realized that. And it didn't happen for me until I took over the budget. And again, another way I put Natalie forward, you're amazing. You're so great at the budget. I just didn't want to deal with the budget. I didn't want to have the pressure of the finances on me. So I would be like, you're amazing. You were second salutatorian in our class. You were better at math. You went all the way up to trig and calculus. Like I struggled even in algebra, like all the things. Like, Jamichael, it's addition and subtraction. It's not
Right.
calculus. You can handle a budget. And by the time I took it from her, it was not a give me that. And she wasn't fighting for control. She was overwhelmed because of my lack of provision. She was having to see that math and feel that pressure. When I finally was running the budget for just 1 month, the weight of provision finally hit me appropriately, healthfully as it should have. And I
Yeah.
came to Natalie and I apologized. And she still tells the story. And she felt so relieved and so vindicated when I was like, I am so sorry. I just was like going to work and like, why don't we have more money? And she never looked at me and was like, because you don't make enough. But she was doing her best to make it manage, but it just wasn't. And when I finally looked at the numbers every month, I'm like, I don't make any money. Like, it's not a bill problem. It's not her secret Target spending. It's not her secret Amazon spending on it. I'm looking at everything. I don't make enough. I
Mm.
must level up.
Yeah.
Ouch. It's
Yeah.
okay, Jamichael. I don't condemn you. You're not a loser. You don't suck. Just be encouraged to know that you can grow. And this is an area of weakness and this is an area of vulnerability in your family. That's a hard lesson to hear, though, because plenty of guys take their provision as like a permanent fixture in their life.
Sure.
I'm not the kind of guy who makes six figures. I'm not the kind of guy who could ever. And we lock ourselves into like, there's no way I could do that. Therefore, you're mean and you're cruel to point out my lack there. Instead of, no, brother, I'm not mean. I'm not cruel. Like, you don't know how to throw a punch. I'm not mean and cruel for saying that. I'm saying you can learn how to throw a punch, dude. It's not, I'm not special. Chris isn't special. We didn't know how to throw a punch.
You just
We had
learned
to
it.
learn how to throw a punch. I still don't know how to throw a punch. I don't want to throw a punch. I want to take you to the ground and rip your foot off. But so until you've been trained, you don't know.
Yeah.
So if you're not the provider you need to be, no condemnation, brother. But you can become, you can grow, you can build skill sets, you can learn new things online, offline, AI, in person. There's opportunities there. And as you do that, it's another covering.
Yes.
And more we're helping this woman to go, oh, so I can like sell stuff on Etsy? Yeah, baby, you can. And she can do things that are out of the overflow instead of out of the burden. And she can do things that are delightful. And she's like, I can refinish this furniture? Absolutely. And she's making a killing doing it. I can write the novel? Do it, baby. But I want her to do all these things under my covering. I want her to do all these things from a supplemental overflow instead of an anxious need to provide because I failed at providing for so long.
Right. Right. So it's not control. It's protection and it's
Yeah. It's not anxious.
provision.
It's not anxious. She's not fretting. Oh, hope I get that Christmas bonus. I need that Christmas bonus. I need that Christmas bonus. I want to get to the place where her Christmas bonus is truly just a bonus. It is just a free, unneeded thing. And we're going like, wow, all right, well, we'll give more and we'll be able to do this differently or we'll invest differently. But that's what I want for her. I want everything to just be out of overflow for her. She's hardworking. You know, if she's full-time homemaker, I mean, she might be like running the homestead. So she's still doing plenty of work, but it's pointed into the household and it's still delightfully connected to her rhythms of wifing and her rhythms of mothering instead of feeling like it is a separate thing that is an extraction from her.
Yeah. Good. Let's wrap this episode up by covering just the lack of leadership overall. So we talked protector, we talked provider, we talked about how that lack can create a more masculinized wife. How does leader round this entire thing off?
Yeah, that's the point that we always started with. For me, that was, they're all connected, obviously. Protector, provider, and leader are connected. And then within leader, we define that specifically. What is a leader? A leader has the three legs of leadership. Compassionate, he loves his family a lot and they know it. Responsible, he takes ownership for all the outcomes. And authority, he has the power to do what God has called him to do. And that would apply to his protection. That would apply to his provision as well. So these are the things that make a man manly. What makes you manly? Being good at protecting, being good at providing, and being good at leading. Crazy thing, you don't even have to be a Christian to do those.
True.
Kind of wild. Christians don't like that when I say that. But like there are men who are better at being manly and who aren't even believers than some Christian men because they're not doing protector, provider. To me, a man is following Jesus. Well, brother, women ought to follow Jesus. So your definition is already off base. Now, the perfect man is Jesus. Everyone should follow Jesus.
Right.
And all of those things come from a Christian perspective anyway. Like these are God's ways. These are kingdom commands.
Yeah.
So the non-believer or the atheist who is a protector, provider, and leader, whether he likes it or not or knows it or not, is fulfilling God's design for his life. Those things feel satisfactory to him, even a godless man, because you're made in the image of God and
Mm.
you're fulfilling your design. Well, no, I just love my family. I know. I know you do, because the Lord built you that way, my brother, and it's
Mm.
glorious. God made you a man, and you're good at being a man.
Yeah.
Now, your eternity is a different story, and if you follow the greatest man, then you'll be saved. But um, where was I going, Chris? Leader.
Yes.
Yeah, so you can be good at these things, and that makes you good at being a man. You might not be a good man necessarily, but you can be good at being a man. Now then, other things, moral integrity and holiness, those things make us a good man. So we want to be the whole package. And the more we can be the covering, the more even a hard wife, whereas most men think they're going to have to negotiate with her and start to teach her and instruct her, it's hard to argue against somebody just putting an umbrella over you. Like it'd be a strange girl who you just put the umbrella over her in the middle of the pouring lightning storm. Well, maybe not lightning. In the middle of the pouring rain, and you come in and put the umbrella over her, like, I don't need no stinking man to put an umbrella over me. It's not likely. She's likely going to go, even if she's super hard, she's like, whoa. I tell you what she's not going to do. She's not going to run away from that umbrella. So this is why we say become the man. This is why we say be the man God has called you to be, and just start to be that umbrella. And she's like, well, I guess dry is preferable to rain. Okay. And she's going to start finding her way towards the feminine as you embrace the masculine. So it's not, hey, babe, let's become more masculine for me. Let's help you become more feminine. Sorry, we've been screwing this up for years. I'm sorry I masculinized you. Well, that's embarrassing for her as well, depending on how hard she is to these principles and how open she is to the scriptures. The best thing I can do is just start pursuing these things, just being more protective. And she's like, what are you doing? I don't need that. Like, I know you don't, baby, but I love to provide for you. Okay. Like, you just start doing the providing things. You've never opened the door in the world for your wife, and you open a door for her, and she's like, what's this about? What are we fancy now? And you're like, she's taking care of my girlfriend. Just don't make it a big deal. And you start doing things, and you start covering her, and you find that she's like, I guess it is kind of nice. Even though simultaneously her programming is going like, you don't need no man. You don't need that thing. You're not one of those girls who... And there will be times where we have to have a direct conversation. We will eventually have to address the thing with apology and with repentance and with a, hey, babe, I got to have an awkward conversation with you. There comes a day for that, but it's typically not immediately, Chris. And that, by the way, let me finish that role play for the guys. That is a, I'm sorry, because I have treated you like a bro for years.
Yeah.
Don't tell her she's broed out and she's masculinized. That's a bit insulting, even though it's true. Babe, I'm just wanting to apologize. For so many years, I have required you to be tougher and to be more masculine, and I've encouraged you in that. And I just don't think that served you. And I just want you to know I want to grow as a protector of you and a provider of you. And I just want to lead you so well with love and strength. Okay, babe, whatever. It's important to me. I think I haven't been as husbandly as I should have been. So you're still making it about you, especially if she's resistant, because she's like, what does that mean for her? Maybe she's not ready for this whole journey of unlearning who I've been as a woman for all these years. That's a bit of a heavy load, right? So I go first. And then as I can cover her with leadership, I expect that she's going to start to respond. But it's simple. It's not easy, though, Chris. There's a lot to all that.
Yeah, man. Become the greatest man your wife and kids have ever known.
Yeah, easy. That's a simple statement. There's a lot
Right.
there.
Simple statement, a lot of complexity behind it. That's really, really good, man. And as we dock the ship here for this episode, something that's coming up for me is as you talk about that umbrella for her, it's not just the act of the umbrella, it's becoming that guy. And so for guys who are like, yeah, I'm honestly not that guy. I have my butler moments, you know. I have my nice moments, but my passivity in my authority and in taking responsibility and in being protector, provider, leader, and truly showing my wife and my kids the love that they need from me, not the love I just want to show. That guy who's like, what the heck, man? Can you help me? What does that look like?
Yeah, of course. We can help you, brother. Everybody who's humble and everybody who's focused on taking action. Guys who aren't just like, I just need new information, but guys who are willing to actually get reps in, like those are the men that we want to work with. And those are the guys who have the incredible success stories and the ridiculous wins that we talk about. That's why we built the Family Captain Elite. That is the thing, brother. It is the fast track. It will shorten your time of leveling up into that 2.0 master of self-leadership. Some of the guys are already there. And they're like, no, I'm ready for the next level. Good. Then we'll take you to 3.0, 4.0, and beyond. We've had guys with us for years now, Chris, and they're just like, we lost track of the levels because frankly they stopped mattering. You're just like, bro, your fruit is redonkulous. Praise God. Look what the Lord has done. And yeah, we continue to measure with progress though.
Yeah.
That's how we measure. We look back at the man we were yesterday. Meanwhile, we have hope for the future, and we judge ourselves according to yesterday. And if that's what a guy wants, if he actually wants progress, if he actually wants growth, book an assessment call with the team. They'll bless you. They'll encourage you. They'll help you find the next step. If it's a deep dive call to look into the elite program, or if it's another resource they can send your way, or something that will just help you take another baby step towards action, we're here for you.
You dropped some bars today, man. We went through some high-level things, but hopefully guys understand the fundamentals that are necessary, and they will book an assessment call. My man, good work. Till next time.
Go captain your ship. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Family Captain Podcast. Now go take some action and serve by leading well. Also subscribe, leave a review so more men can find the podcast and be helped. And if you're ready to take your growth to the next level and you'd like more support, check out thefamilycaptain.com for our resources that'll help you accelerate your journey. And until next time, go captain your ship.